The Kyrie 7s are just about the hottest sneaker in the world right now. That's a huge statement, and I'm sticking with it. And I'm going with that because of these guys right here. This is the pale ivory, and then we've got these guys right here, and that's the Daybreaks, two shoes that I was absolutely in love with. And the thing with those two shoes, though, is it really got me looking at Kyrie 7s in a different light. I've always looked at Kyries for this channel. 2.5 years of doing this content, Kyries have been there non-stop from the very, very beginning. But these 7s in particular have really got me looking in detail because I think I think the sneakers have gone to a whole new level. The channel as well, I hope. But the sneakers have gone to a whole new level with some of the stuff that they're doing. So now, as I said in previous videos, I'm looking forward to Kyrie 7s coming out, which I'd never done before. And I'm like looking for the next one. What's going to be the next thing they do on it? And these guys don't disappoint because it's a sneaker of firsts for me. A first on the swoosh, a first on the heel, and a first on the laces. And that's great to be able to talk about that on a shoe that's quite a few months old and they're still bringing out firsts. So all those firsts are coming our way as we take a close-up look at the upcoming release of the Nike Kyrie 7 Laser Blue. This is the Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channelです。毎日アップするので毎日見てください。And every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And today, I'm wearing a boring coloured shirt. Why is that important? It's because yesterday I could finally wear a not boring coloured shirt because we weren't in front of the green screen. It's one of my favourite things at the channel. Happened again was a viewer out there sent me 3 pairs of sneakers, and there's a Jordan pair in there, there's an Air Max pair in there, and an Air Force One pair in there as well. But I won't tell you any more than that. It's definitely a video well worth checking out. I totally had a lot of fun doing it. Blind unboxing, so I covered my eyes up and tried to guess what the shoes were. I had a lot of fun with you guys out there doing that video. But it was great to be able to wear a shirt that doesn't clash with the green screen, or does clash with the green screen because I wasn't doing the green screen. But I have to go back to this kind of shirt because it doesn't clash with the green screen. So sadly, we're back to that, but it just means that yesterday was a great day at the channel. And today we get a great shoe at the channel. So let's get into it and have a look at this guy. And I was talking about the firsts and how I've been looking forward to what the Kyrie 7s are going to be bringing us, and looking at the details on the shoe in a different way. It's like the shoe's gone to a next level, taking the whole line to a next level. And there's a lot in this shoe, like I said, that are firsts for me. And there are also some echoes of other shoes. So we're going to get into all that right now and take a look at these guys. So I am going to do this. I think I'll do high to low and see if that works out for us. I might get something wrong or miss something out, but fingers crossed I'll get it all the way through in this video. So first things first, let's go right to the top of the tongues. And I haven't seen this before. It's the Kyrie branding up there. And it's kind of an interesting balance between the tongue branding and the insole branding, because the insole branding is so very, very simple. But the tongue branding, it really does look three-dimensional. You know what I mean? It looks like it's actually three-dimensional. I had to use, like, I think it was on my iPad, and I zoomed in with my fingers to get as close as I could to this tongue branding and see what's going on with that there. Is it actually 3D? Some 3D structure that's coming off of the tongues there, or is it just lines and drawings that give that impression of 3D, but in a very, very high quality way? And it's a great place to start on these guys. Now, I haven't seen 3D print on the top of the tongues on Kyrie 7s before. That doesn't mean to say it hasn't happened before. It probably hasn't, because I've looked at an awful lot of Kyrie 7s and I keep an eye out for them, but surely I've missed a couple down the line, and it might just be that 3D branding has been there before. But for me, that's one of the firsts on this shoe. And there's not too far to go down from that, and just have a look at the whole lateral side and get a sense of just how white this sneaker is. And then it's the light blue or laser blue hits that really stick out on the lateral side. But then if we flip that around to the medial side, and you still have that very strong white base for the shoe, but that especially in the swoosh, the coloring in the swoosh has been traded out from light blue to what I'm reading. I've heard this is called like a deep raisin. The way I looked at it was like a hint of purple in black. It's not quite pure black, a hint of purple. So you can see the swoosh on the medial side there, and then if we flip it back out to the swoosh on the lateral side, you see that light laser blue in there. But we stay on that swoosh for 2 particular reasons. One first and one result of that first. And the first that I'm talking about is on Kyrie 7s. I haven't seen an embroidered swoosh before. The swooshes we've looked at, things like the Chinese New Year's, the pale ivories, the Daybreaks, like the Daybreaks had that fire their swoosh was incredible, but they were very three-dimensional and popping off the sneaker. And I haven't seen, maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't seen embroidered swooshes on Kyrie 7s yet, but you can see these guys right here embroidered. But the problem with that, the effect of that, is as you get to the tapered end of the swoosh and they go from it being two embroidered lines that are joining together in one big embroidered line, that point when it goes from two lines into one line is very chunky, and that wouldn't happen with, say, plastic or some kind of embedded feature on there. But because of the embroidery, there is a point that has to transition from two lines of threading into one line of threading, and that gets kind of chunky. Hopefully what I'm talking about is showing up pretty well on the green screen here, but it's a first for me to see Kyrie 7s with that embroidered swoosh. Now if we go forward from that, another first for me is I've never seen this. It's carved. It's like somebody's carved out these lace stays, the eyelets on the front end of the shoe, and you can see it here with the white. It's very difficult to see, but you see the carving effect. It's very, very ornate, and I usually look at this point on the shoe for color, because there are some shoes that come out from the Kyrie 7 line where it's just a solid color, and others where they have hits of color on top to give a definition. So I was ready for that, and I was like, whoa, okay, it's not all about the color in this one, it's about the structure and the way that this has been carved, this ornate effect on the front of the shoe. So to me, that's another first, that these eye stays at the front end of the lacing system have been carved out instead of just being a very solid, simple design. And then if we go back from that, a very similar first on the shoe for me is the back end of these guys. The structure on the heel of these guys is not anything that I've seen before in the Kyrie 7 line, and you can see that it's a bit, the 6s had a very chunky kind of heel situation going on, and it's much less prominent than that, but it still is a physical 3D heel on these guys. And what's going on in the center of that is a ton of stuff that doesn't look as complicated as it actually is, and we start with it being the whole structure of the all-seeing eye, and Egypt is a very big part of Kyrie Irving's life, and his shoes, he always sort of threads in a little bit of Egyptian culture into his shoes, so that all-seeing eye there. But the pupil in the center of that all-seeing eye is actually a basketball, which is very, very cool, to bring the two worlds of the Egyptian kind of history together with the basketball world for Kyrie Irving, which is great. I mean, all of this would have been enough, but around the outside edge of that basketball, it's white on white, so it's hard to see, but two of his signature words, humble and hungry. I've seen reports that it says hungry, but they're wrong, those reports, and hopefully I've been able to zoom in clearly on the green screen here, and you can see around that basketball on either side two words beginning with the letter H, humble on one side and hungry on the other. So a great detail on the back of the shoe, but the actual physical structure is a first for me. Haven't seen it on Kyrie 7s before either. And then the last thing to really do is to flip these guys upside down and have a look at the outsole. Very solid outsole. It's gone are the days of compartmentalized outsoles where you had different sections playing off of each other. If you think, say, Air Force Ones, for example, or Jordan sneakers. Now most basketball sneakers, they just have this continuous single skin effect outsole, and that's exactly what's going on here with these Kyrie 7s, is that single skin effect in that raisin color to match the medial embroidered swoosh, but with a couple of hits of branding throughout to kind of match the lateral side swoosh. So finishing off a great looking shoe. I'm so looking forward to Kyrie 7s coming out. It really is something I look forward to. I'm like, what's going to come next? These guys I thought were going to disappoint me. I was like, that's a very simple colorway with a very simple swoosh on the side, but then closer inspection actually turned out three really large firsts for me and the Kyrie 7 line. Now another first is they talked about these guys being lows, which I'm not sure about. I don't agree, because the other lines, the other sneakers in the Kyrie 7 line had 3 eyelets above those ornate eyelets at the bottom, but these guys have 4. I don't know how they could have an extra eyelet and then be a low. It wouldn't make sense to be that way around. So if you know anything more about these guys being low or mids or highs or something, definitely hit us all up with a comment down below. And on that note, it's time for me just to wrap this one up. Hopefully you guys appreciated that look, and hopefully you kind of felt a little bit of my excitement for the Kyrie 7 line, because like I said at the top of this video, for me, they're the hottest sneakers in the sneaker world right now. And with that being said, time to just wrap this up. Thank you guys for checking out the content. I'll just do this thing I do at the end of every single video, which is remind you that I do this every single day. And that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.